I'm sure he'll show up. Are we on?
We are.
Thank you, sir. And we're on that end. Good. Well, thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome, everybody. I will call to order this meeting of the Lawrence County Salary Board. Today is Tuesday, July 2, 2024. And a couple housekeeping items. Here comes Chris. We'll note that we just got started. You're fine. You're fine. Take your time. We would ask if you have a cell phone, if you could kind of put it on vibrate or silent. We'd appreciate that courtesy. This meeting was appropriately advertised, I believe, on Saturday in the Newcastle News in the legal ads. So we've met the Sunshine Law requirements. I should also note for the record that the Salary Board held 2 executive sessions to discuss personnel matters, one on May 28 and one on June 18. And as we've commented in the past, the state law, the county code that governs how we handle our matters here at the courthouse stipulates that anytime a change is made in the salary of a non-union or management person, or a new position is created or eliminated, that has to be done at a public meeting, and it has to be done by the 4 permanent members of this board. And the permanent members are the 3 commissioners and the elected county controller. When another elected official has an issue to be brought before the board, they become a temporary voting member of that board for their issue only. Now, today we have requests from Children and Youth Services and the Information Technology Department. Now, these 2 gentlemen are not elected officials, so as such, they do not have a vote on the matters that they are requesting. And again, that's based on state law. So the 4 of us will be the, as President Bush used to say, the deciders. You might remember he said that at one point. He said, "I'm the decider." But that's how we're structured, and that's how we go about this process. We always do start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if you'd remain standing for a moment of silence. Mr. Prestipine, would you lead us in the pledge? Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you all. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Controller Prestipine?
Here.
Commissioner Sinata?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. Thank you. We do have a quorum. All 4 members are in attendance. Explanation of procedures. We've gone over some of that. I will note that we will have 2 opportunities for public comment, one in just a moment or 2, and then one before we adjourn. If you do have a public comment or question, we ask that it be related to salary board matters, if you could, please. And that does take us to public comments. Hayden, you're our public today. Do you have any questions for us at this time?
No, sir.
Thank you. And again, we'll before we adjourn today, we'll give you a second opportunity. Thank you. Appreciate your joining us. And before I move on to the minutes, let me ask my colleagues, any opening comments or concerns? David, anything? Mr. Sinata? No. Mr. Kennedy? No. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. In our packet, and Hayden, I'll be giving you this set of documents when we're done here today.
Okay.
You have an agenda, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. We have the minutes of the last meeting of the Salary Board, which was held on March 26th of 2024. Gentlemen, I'll give you time to look these minutes over, and then whenever you're ready, if one of you would care to make a motion, and then if another would offer the second, we can vote on these minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion. Thank you both, and bless you. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. First item on the agenda this morning, Children and Youth Services has made a request of us, a couple of requests, and John Bout serves as the director of that office. John, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just for, as you're getting settled in, just for some background, and I'll let you elaborate. Mr. Bout brought to our attention within the last 4 to 6 weeks that there was federal funding made available to his office that could be utilized for enhancements to or incentives to the employees at CYS. Like very many counties in Pennsylvania, this is not unique to Lawrence County, but in very many counties, CYS offices are facing a challenge of finding and keeping employees. It's very challenging work. It's not easy work. And it takes a special person to do the type of work that these folks do. And with the inflationary pressures that we've all been experiencing, it's made it all the more difficult. So as a result, Mr. Bout, in consultation with the state regulators with whom he works, determined that we might be able to use these federal funds as retention incentives. And we've done that actually already with the union folks. The salary board does not get involved in union rates of pay. That is done through a negotiated contract. And you may recall that a few weeks ago, the 3 commissioners did vote to implement some incentives for the union employees at CYS. And I believe what you're coming to us today with are some proposals that deal with the non-union and management people. If I've stated that correctly, I'll turn it over to you and let you fill us in with all the specifics.
Thank you, and good morning, and I appreciate the board's time and consideration. Commissioner, I appreciate your opening remarks as well, as they were spot on and a good reflection of the last few weeks. The first position, or the first, resolution pertains to a $2,000 retention incentive for non-union employees, which mirrors what was previously done for the union staff. Some of the comments that you had, I just want to reiterate that the funding is federal. It's through the Family First Transition Act, and there is 0 county match. So this first $2,000 request for a retention incentive is 100% covered by the federal dollars. And we have been encouraged to move forward with a retention incentive as recommended by the Office of Children, Youth, and Families at the state level, because of not just here in Lawrence, but as you stated, across the Commonwealth, struggles in child welfare with retaining staff.
Thank you, John. Vanessa, what number would we assign this?
18.
Thank you. And I'll note that the resolution presented to us includes the following positions who would receive this one-time $2,000 incentive. The Foster Kinship Program Supervisor, the Foster Program Care Specialist, CYS Solicitor, CYS Deputy Director 1, CYS Deputy Director 2, and the CYS Director. The language in the proposed resolution uses the word bonus, and this is semantics. I don't consider this to be technically a bonus. I think this is, as the state and feds have pointed out, this is more of an incentive. So I think we need to focus on, I might be splitting hairs here a little bit, but I look upon this as an incentive for these folks. I'm going to see if my colleagues have questions of Mr. Bowden, I'll start with Mr. Kennedy. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Prestipine?
Well, just a clarification, there's 6 positions listed here, but there are actually 7 employees because there are 2 people with one of these positions. One of these positions, there's 2 positions on it. It's actually 14,000 or 12,000.
Do you know which
I think it's
has?
the foster program care specialist.
That's
I
correct.
believe there are 2 of them?
There's 2 of them.
Okay.
Everybody else just.
I'll just note on here that that's 2 positions. Thank you. Thank you, David. Anything else?
No.
Mr. Sanada?
No, I do agree with you, Chairman. I think the word incentive is appropriate. I don't look at it as a bonus either. I think it's incentive. That's what the intent of our federal government is, and that's our intent as well.
Correct, I agree.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. Anything else? Okay. What? Did I take a motion?
No.
I need a motion. Thank you. May I have a motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. I apologize. I had a little slip there. We have the motion and the second for proposed resolution 18. Are there any other questions? Or Mr. Bowden, anything else you wish to offer?
No, not this time.
Thank you. We'll take a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Proposed resolution 19. You're looking for a stipend for individuals, and incidentally, I neglected to state at the outset. When salary board meets in public, we talk about the positions. We don't name names because one particular individual might be here and next week they might move on. They might retire, they might move to another position. So our role is to talk about the positions in county government. That's why you don't see names listed here. But your folks in your office, and I'll let you elaborate, obviously you're not an 8 to 4 office. Emergencies happen at midnight, at 3 a.m., sometimes over the weekends. And you have to have people on your staff on call when those situations arise. So you're looking at a $200 weekly stipend for that on call, but I'm going to let you elaborate on this if you would, please.
Yes, and so our office is a 24/7, 365 operation. By law, we have to have the ability to respond every day of the year at all hours for safety issues pertaining to a child's welfare. And so I come before you for this request. We have, as was stated earlier, 2 foster program care specialists and 1 foster kinship supervisor. The 3 of those staff members rotate. They take a week at a time, the 3 of them, and across all 52 weeks, and support our efforts when we're granted emergency custody by the court to locate a facility or a foster home or assist in locating a kinship home, so a family member or close association of a child. So the staff members have currently been on call for now multiple years and have received no compensation while being on call. And so it works out that over the course of the year, we're talking about over 7,000 on-call hours. And in our Act 148 state budget this year, the state granted us funding to support a $200 a week stipend for these positions. And so that works out to be a total expense of $10,400, which is budgeted, of which 20% would be county cost, which is $2,080. And again, when you tease that out over the number of hours that they are working on call, we're talking about $1.48 an hour. And so when you look at the landscape of child welfare, there are times where when we have to place a child, we will access more than 100 programs. With those programs sadly denying children, and so we have to keep working a list, and we start local and then we expand out, sometimes having to contact providers even in the Philadelphia area. But this staff is accessing provider contacts and working diligently to help our most vulnerable children in time of crisis.
John, thank you for that. And just to reiterate, budgeted $10,400. Of that, the $2,080 comes from the county. The balance would be from the Commonwealth.
That's correct.
Thank you. Mr. Prestipine, do you have questions for Mr. Bob?
No, just same thing as the last resolution, was foster care programs, but there are two of them, so it's actually, it's 3 people that this is going to affect. There's only 2 on the resolution, because they wanted the same thing as last time. These are non-exempt people, personnel, so they're already eligible for it.
Thank you for noting that, and we'll make that part of the record. Thank you, David. Anything else? Chris? No? Dan, any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, may I have a motion for proposed resolution 19?
I will support resolution 19.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you both, gentlemen. Any final comments? Let's take a roll call, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Proposed resolution 20. Once again, I'll let John give all the details, but this resolution would create an administrative assistant 1 position at a salary that would be based upon the current collective bargaining agreement with the ASCME union. And we would eliminate on the books a receptionist position upon the hiring of this administrative assistant 1 position that's created in this resolution. John, you want to give us any further detail on this?
Yes, in our current budget that started July 1st, our Act 148 funds allotted us an administrative assistant 1 position. And so we are looking to add that position, which is in our budget, and eliminate a receptionist position. We are not looking to expand the workforce. We're looking to maintain level staffing, but to be in alignment with our current state budget, we would need to add an administrative assistant 1, and then eliminate the receptionist position. And there is a differential in pay between those 2 positions of $3,152.97, of which the differential to the county for the year is $630.59, as 80% of that differential is covered by state funding.
John, thank you. Chris, do you have questions for John? Okay, thank you. Dan, anything? Thank you. Mr. Prestipine?
Nope.
Thank you, gentlemen. May I have a motion for proposed resolution 20?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Dave. Is there a second? Second. Thanks, Dan. If there are no other comments or concerns, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. And your final proposal today, this is number 21. You're looking at the creation of 3 program specialist 1 positions, which would be union positions. So the salary would be based upon the current collective bargaining agreement that we have with ASCME. And that you're proposing creation of 3 program specialist 2 positions. Also, salary will be based upon the current contract that we have with the union. 3, at no time shall the CYS office exceed 3 employees total as either a program specialist 1 and or a program specialist 2. And finally, all other program specialist 1 and program specialist 2 positions that were created in prior resolutions will be eliminated. So John, I'll let you give us any more detail that you might have.
So this resolution is supported in our Act 148 state budget, and it would give us the flexibility to backfill vacancies already approved, and along with allowing people in those positions to be eligible for promotion. The job description for a program specialist 2 position has two qualifiers: 12 months as a program specialist 1 or a master's degree. And so this resolution which is consistent with our state budget, would allow us to have the opportunity for a career ladder for program specialist 1, while giving us flexibility that if an individual moves on, again, there's a path forward for them to go from a program specialist 1 to a program specialist 2. We also look at this resolution as an effort to support retention of existing staff members, again, as they see themselves having an opportunity for promotion, either based on advanced education or time within the program specialist 1 position.
Thank you, John. Again, just not to beat a dead horse, but these steps that we're taking in large part are a response to the fact that it's become very challenging for us to attract and keep employees. The private sector, we compete with the private sector, and in many instances, they're able to offer higher salaries. And quite frankly, we compete with a couple larger counties that have that ability as well. And I know you've had lengthy discussions with the folks with whom you work at the state level, looking for ways to stabilize the revolving door, that again is not unique to Lawrence County.
Correct.
And I appreciate these steps that you're taking. The other thing I do want to note, most all of our departments and offices here in the county do have, to one extent or another, relationships or even oversight from the Commonwealth. Now, it varies from office to office, and I don't mean to pick on Mr. Bordenaro, but our IT department doesn't really have a lot of regulation from the Commonwealth. You have some, but not a whole lot. You, on the other hand, Mr. Bout, you have extensive regulation and oversight from the Commonwealth. You're probably dealing with people at the Department of Human Services on probably a daily basis, I would offer. And so much of this ties in with the work you do with them and the guidance and direction that you oftentimes receive from them. So I just want to, I hope I haven't misstated anything.
You have not.
Okay, thank you. Anything else before I turn it over to my colleagues for questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kennedy, do you have questions for John?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Prestipine?
No, just to clarify, this isn't adding any positions to his roster. He has 3 before, he's gonna have 3 now. It just allows him to move them between the 2 positions, between the 2 levels, I guess, of the position.
That's correct. I appreciate your noting that. Thank you. Anything else, Dave? Chris, anything for Mr. Bound?
Dave answered that question, so.
Thank you. Gentlemen, would one of you care to make a motion for proposed resolution 21?
I move we support resolution 21.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, both Chris and Dan. If there are no other comments, I'll request that Vanessa take the roll.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. John, I think, is that all you have for us today?
That's all I have this time.
When we adjourn, would you have a quick second that I could chat with you?
Yes.
Okay, won't take long.
All right.
Unless you have to leave. Did you have to leave?
No, I will be
Okay.
here for the.
Or are you coming for the 10 o'clock
Yes.
meeting? Okay, thank you. I won't keep you long.
All right.
Thank you. The final matter that we have on the agenda comes from our Information Technology Department. Bill Bordenaro is the director of that department. And Bill, welcome.
Gentlemen?
Little history. This department, when I came here as commissioner, if my memory serves me correctly, was a 3-person department. And at one point, probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago, one of those 3 people retired. And at the time, the conclusion was that we could get by with going with 2 people instead of 3 people. Well, we've seen that this office, responds to the needs of over 400 employees, most of whom have some type of a computer either on their desk or that they take with them, a laptop, what have you. And you and the other gentleman with whom you work, who reports to you, are always on the go. So we've had extensive conversations about this. And the conclusion we've reached is that it might be prudent for us to look at giving you a little additional support in your office, which in turn helps the folks that work here. So what you're proposing or what you're asking us to consider today is that the salary board vote to eliminate a position that's listed on the books and is in the budget, if I'm not mistaken. It's budgeted for. It's called the PC/phone system technician position. You're asking us to eliminate that position, which currently is vacant, but budgeted for it. And you're asking this board to create a support specialist/IT help desk position, which would be a non-union position. And the salary would be established, a starting salary of $40,000. I guess I got to ask our controller a question. Is it a given, or do we need to stipulate that this would include benefits? Is that assumed?
It's a
or-
full-time position.
So it's assumed that the benefits are included. Okay, thank you. So Bill, can you fill us in on this, please?
You said it all.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but you might have more to add. If you
You are correct. We do roughly support, like you said, 400, about 350, maybe give or take 400. We also support 13 buildings. Most of the buildings are in this campus, but that does include the jail and 911 center. We've given them more support than in prior years, so we've helped them out.
Does it not also include the district justice offices?
It
So
does.
you're traveling to Elwood City on
That is correct.
occasion, and North Beaver Township, Neshannock Township, so, okay.
Occasionally, we help DUI also
Mhm.
downtown. So we're growing, and we need help. Myself and assistant administrator, we're kind of getting overwhelmed some days. So we have projects that we need to complete. So getting that third person on board with us and to be able to help out the campus here would be a tremendous help.
Well, and I appreciate that. I don't want to speak for my colleagues, although I think it's safe to say we recognize that, but I'll let them respond accordingly. Mr. Prestipine, do you have questions for the bill?
I do.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanada?
Yeah, I just want to echo what you're doing. This begins our 7th month today as commissioner, and I just observed over the last 6 months, responsibilities that your office has done, just from my dealings with you. It's getting a grasp of what's going on here at the government center. Myself and Commissioner Kennedy get visit all the agencies and offices to see what's done. And it's, as far as technology, it's changing and it's growing. Even over the last 7 months, dealing with our office, some of the things we've been there in all the time, with their system. So I think the position is needed. Your responsibility is going to keep growing. Technology today. So I think this is a good move, and I think it's something that's needed. So that's just my thoughts, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chris. Mr. Kennedy?
Bill, one thing I'll have to tell you that I've noticed is, your security, cybersecurity, We're lucky here at the county to have people like you, Eric. Very fortunate. You guys do a tremendous job. You go back to your office, I don't see you sitting there very often.
If you see me, we're in trouble, right?
Yeah, exactly. You two are out running somewhere all the time, so we thank you for what you do, and hopefully this can help you slow a little bit, and get caught up a little bit too, so we thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thanks for those comments. May I have a motion for proposed resolution 22?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Chris. Bill, anything else before we take our vote?
Just to clarify, you did say make this will be a non-exempt position. Okay, as I had, so typo on that. Okay, that is correct.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Bill. Bill, you're welcome to stay, but if you have to move along, we understand. Of course, I guess in a few moments,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to
I'll stay.
turn that off. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
That reminded me, I neglected to mention at the very beginning that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Forgive me for not saying that sooner. New business. Do members of the board have any matters of new business to bring up? Okay, thank you. That takes us to public comment. And again, Hayden, you're our public today. Any questions or concerns that you might have?
Nothing for me right now.
Thank you, sir. And when we adjourn, I'll bring the documents over for you to have.
Thank you.
Thanks again for being here today. Well, that takes us to adjournment. Would someone care to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. This motion carries and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you.